By the age of 28, a friend of mine said they hoped to achieve something big when they turned 30. I was 25. And that thought never left my mind. I thought it was a pretty cool way to give meaning to another birthday. And I'm quite sure we all agree this is a special one. The 20s are considered to be the training ground for adulthood. We're still discovering who we are and the things we want to focus on. The people, the music, the food we like, the art we make. Everything that makes us us. But there's no denying that no matter what decade we're in, we will be always in constant change. It makes sense that the different and new might trigger discomfort to many. And it's very possible that a lot don't even dare to dip their toes in those waters. It's great to feel safe. I'm not gonna deny that. But there might be something greater outside of that little bubble that we are so used to being in. My biggest achievement when I turned 30 was to actively pursue my career in art. I applied for an open visa to enter the US. This is probably the hardest and most satisfying sticker I've ever gotten in my life. I left my home, my family, my friends. The whole life I built all these years, everything was left behind. Coming as an immigrant has made me constantly feel like my situation is not secure. I'm actually in the middle of updating my paperwork, so my status is unknown for now. What's clear to me is that this decision was made knowing the difficulties that were waiting for me, monetarily, physically, and emotionally. This feeling of discomfort and concern is usually something we know as fear. Fear comes from things and situations we're not familiar with. And while we're afraid, we tend to avoid them. And our confidence levels come down. And we start hesitating every single thing we do. And in those moments, anxiety usually takes the wheel. I decided to face one of the most intimidating tasks in my list and finally improve my setup. A project that I delayed for months and months because guess what? I was not sure I was gonna be able to do it. Anxiety kinda dominated my spirit for a long time. And instead of taking action, I search and research places to buy a PC ready to use. It just made sense, but none of them seemed like a good match for what I wanted in my studio. So I took a long time to find the parts for this project, and then found someone with the experience needed to hold my hand through this process. Shout out to my friend Anthony in Costa Rica for endorsing every single decision made to build this one, my first computer from scratch. It's totally okay to be afraid. In fact, fear has an evolutionary purpose. Being afraid is a reminder that we are in a challenging situation, that we are being pushed out of the bubble we're in. Many times I held myself back and self-sabotaged. Many times I just sat around questioning myself. Which will be the best way? When is gonna be a good time? What are the rules? When in reality, it was all a waste of time. If we don't take risks, are we actually living life? If we don't challenge ourselves, are we actually learning anything? Now that I see it from the other side, it wasn't the heart, was it? I even feel dumb for doubting myself in a test like this. I'm pretty sure you've been there too. If your fear revolves around making mistakes, how are you ever gonna learn new things? How are you supposed to grow? Nobody's perfect. Nobody knows everything. In fact, the more we learn, the more we realize how much we don't know. So that thing you're delaying for so long, let me ask you, what is the absolute worst that could happen?